core component of writing classes in college is the writing workshop. After presenting your work to the class, you take notes, while your peers and professors provide feedback. In my workshops, we were not allowed to respond until everyone had offered their perspective. Now, there were two ways you'd see students listen when it was their turn. Like this, or like this. People literally came to tears during some of those workshops, and that was even before the fistfights. If you feel anxious when someone reads and criticizes your essay, you are potentially missing out on a vital part of essay writing that could really hold you back. In this video, I'm going to discuss detaching from your writing and how best to utilize feedback. Essay criticism is important because Mooshly.com would look rather bland without it. It also affords new perspectives and identifies blind spots in your work. For example, if you're too close to your essay and you love a section detailing your weirdly obsessive alpaca fascination and think it's critical to your essay on health sector management, someone else might tell you to cut it. All writers have revised work based on feedback, myself included. It's a proven tactic for progress. But people don't always take writing criticism well. Some view feedback as a personal attack instead of an opportunity for improvement. Some people think they're better writers than they are and don't like feedback on their writing because what could this person possibly teach me? Some people think a criticism of their writing equates to an attack on their intellect or speaking ability. I've had people come to me for writing advice, argue that my observations were stupid, actually, and they were correct the first time, only to regret it later. What I want you to take away from this is that writing is a skill like any other that can be learned, requires practice, and can be judged without a value judgment on the writer themselves. However, understanding why we get so attached to our writing is the first step toward being able to maximize feedback. If you resonate with difficulty receiving feedback, consider why. Maybe it's the work investment. It never feels good when something you've devoted dozens of hours to is critiqued. Is it the emotional connection? Maybe you've written something particularly vulnerable and feel like feedback is an attack. Maybe you have a lot of pride in your writing ability and are resistant to change. Think about what might be stopping you from incorporating valid points from reviews of your work. Now let's talk about strategies to get the most from feedback. But first, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Chris from Mooshly.com. I have an English bachelor's with a creative writing concentration and an MBA. I'm a consultant and professional writer, and I've helped a lot of students improve their writing and get accepted to elite academic programs and institutions like Ivy Leagues, medical schools, law schools, PhDs, and graduate business programs. I frequently get asked for writing advice, so I decided to put some of it out there to help you for free. I wrote a very thorough college essay introduction guide I highly recommend you check out. Click the link in the description to download it for free and let me know what you think. In my experience, the first detachment technique to try is viewing your essay as a work in progress. Think of it this way. Your essay is never done. Isn't that exciting? You'll be writing your college essay until you die. No, but it is always changing right up until the point you submit it. And I guarantee if you did go back in that essay every 6 months for the rest of your life, you'd keep changing things. There's a famous story in college writing classes about editing. Ernest Hemingway allegedly rewrote the ending to A Farewell to Arms 47 times. Just the ending. If you're on draft 3 and you're contending with having to make a change, don't panic. You can make changes up until the minute you submit. It behooves you not to grow attached to any particular draft or section of your essay. Now, if you're able to rid your mind of the concept that your essay is done, focus on the goal of improving, not perfection. Your essay won't be perfect. It'll never be perfect, but it can be good enough to get you into the #1 school in the world. Try not to view your essay as in a binary state of either finished and perfect or incomplete and bad. I guarantee you will come closer to perfection making incremental improvements over time than obsessing over one draft that must be perfect. And you know what? If you do that, you're never going to want to change that draft once it's finished, no matter how bad it is. Furthermore, I recommend starting with multiple drafts of disparate topics for a couple reasons, but it will help you practice not getting attached to one idea. You have to be open to change. If you can, get feedback on the topics themselves. It might be easier to implement the wisdom of others if you start at the beginning of the process instead of waiting for the very end when you're already set on your essay. The next tactic is taking time away. If you have time, take breaks between revisions and after getting feedback. Time away from your work will naturally distance yourself from the minutia. You might come back not really caring whether you cut that sentence that you really love but everybody tells you is terrible. You might see your writing with fresh eyes, and it will help you assess the validity of the criticism and strength of your writing. Another thing, when I was writing my college essay, it certainly felt analogous to my self-worth in some way. Everybody was talking about their essays, comparing drafts, and competing for higher-ranked admissions. Your college essay, and certainly your first several drafts, are not a reflection of your value as a person, how successful you'll be, or your intelligence. It's okay to admit it can be better. Finally, you have to vet who you ask feedback from. Your essay will not be better if you incorporate feedback from everyone who wants to give it. I mean, the best way to ensure feedback will be decent is only to ask experts. I understand this isn't always practical, so let's discuss how to evaluate and receive feedback. When you've identified someone you think you can trust, I encourage you to let the other person finish their critique without interrupting. Then ask questions. Understand where their feedback is coming from, even if you don't agree. Then give it some time. Look for easy wins by prioritizing the criticisms that align with your essay goals and you agree with. If there aren't any, you'll have to use your best judgment to evaluate the source of the feedback and the quality of the comments themselves. Just make sure you're mentally open to incorporating feedback before shutting it down. Not leveraging good writers in your network for your college essays is a mistake, but I get it's not always easy. Remember that criticism is a tool for growth, and I'm sure your essays will come out great. If you want some introduction feedback from a professional writer, don't forget to download your free essay introduction guide from the link in the comments, and I'll see you next time.